Good morning, y'all. It's Cody, Cody's Bait and Tackle, Warsaw, Missouri. I'm going to give a little bit of a fishing report here. I haven't done a real good one for quite a while. I've kind of been slacking, been busy, been working real long hours, haven't had time in the bait shop really, so I didn't want to do my videos at home either. Uh, I'm going to try to get back to doing a weekly fishing report. Uh, Try to keep you guys updated. Everything's changing pretty fast now with the lake up high. It's finally on the drop now. Lake of the Ozarks is running a ton of water. I've had a lot of people messaging me, well, I ain't never fished in that kind of current before. Most of your fish aren't going to be in that current. They're going to be off to the side of it. They're going to be in the current breaks. They're going to be along the bank, pushed over on the ledges. You get further downriver, they're going to be up on the mud flats out of that current. That's where your bait's going to be. There's going to be a little bit of bait scattered out in the current, especially with the muddy water. Most of that bait's going to be up high. Your fish are going to be tucked right down on the bottom, trying to stay as tight as they can to the bottom. That's catfish mostly. If you're crappie, white bass, all them fish I'm seeing down there on Lake of the Ozarks are really shallow. Most of them are under 10 foot deep, and they might be in 20 foot of water like in the dead water, but most of them fish are going to be 5 to 10 foot down. That's where all your bait is. That's where they can see to feed in this real dirty water. They are catching a lot of white bass and crappie still in the dead water. Several of the guides still down there spider rigging, single pole fishing. It's not a real good spot to live scope just because there's so many fish in there. There's so many different fish. You don't quite know what you're dropping on. The crappie ain't schooled up like them guys are used to seeing on the lake. So it's a better spot just to go fish. Spider rigging's working good down there. Basically, there's a few guys just trolling jigs. They're catching a few, but I think they're fishing a little bit under the fish. Like I said, if you're fishing down very deep, then fish can't see to feed. That water is brown. Up on Truman, the Osage, it's the same way. I've been up there doing some hybrid fishing this week. All your fish are up high. There is some fish on the Osage arm, hybrid-wise. There's fish on the Grand Arm, hybrid-wise. I have not found anything on Palmy. I know there's some down there. I just haven't got to look around enough to find them yet. There's some white bass over on the cemetery on Little Tebow. A few of you guys might be familiar with that. I did go over there. I dropped some live bait on them. I had a couple pull downs, but I think it was mostly white bass. I don't think it was any big hybrids in there. Looked like maybe some smaller ones. But there's fish on the weir. Everybody's been asking what's on the weir. Why ain't the fish up there? They're there. They just can't see to feed. I know I graphed a bunch of hybrids up there this week. Everybody's pulling up there, fishing a little bit and leaving. There's a bunch of catfish guys been fishing it pretty regular. The catfish are just thick on there. Live shad, cut shad. That's a whole road bed right across the top of the dam. It's got just tons of fish on it, usually when they're pulling a lot of water. Kind of a community hole though. If you're going to fish it, you're going to fish with a bunch of other people. As soon as that lake really starts dropping, gets down a few more feet, they'll start hitting it really hard. They're calling for a bunch more rain this week, and it's showing heavy rain every day next week, so it's hard to say what's actually going to happen. They could take all that rain out by the time it gets here, who knows. But lake's kind of stabilized right now. It should start clearing up pretty fast if we don't get any more big rains. As far as crappie on the lake, all the reports I've heard, they're catching some up in the buckbrush, up in the willows. Some of the guys are catching them right in the middle of the creeks down that 5 to 10 foot deep in that dirtier water, you know. Even some of them on the Grand and Tebow said 5 to 15 foot deep, just right down the middle of the creeks, just single pole fishing them, live scope or spider rigging, either one's working. You know, a lot of them trees that you can normally see are completely gone right now, so you gotta do a little bit more moving around than just tying up to a tree now for crappie. or going and fishing a couple of specific trees you can see. They're completely going. Lakes, I don't know, 14 foot high or something right now. I didn't call this morning to see what the lake level was. I know it did start dropping yesterday. But as far as bass, I kind of tried to talk to a few of the bass guys last night. Sounds like mostly they're flipping up in them willows, hitting some of them points with current drawn across them. Kind of some of the same places you'd find your hybrids and white bass this time of year. As of now, I have not found any big schools of white bass in Truman. I think they're pushing bait up in some of the pockets. I've seen a bunch of them real scattered, but not the big schools like we usually start seeing by now. Some of them might still be up the creeks. I did see some hybrids and white bass caught up the Sac rivers, so I know some are still up the rivers too. I heard over at Caplinger they're catching quite a few crappie over there now, so you know that's kind of a good sign there's water coming out of there. So I know there's a bunch of fish up the Sac also. I normally don't go that far, but there's quite a few guys that do go there and fish that. People that aren't familiar with it, that's Stockton dumps water into the Sac River, which dumps into the Osage River. So that's usually late spring, well, anywhere from early spring to late spring, early summer. That can be really good fishing over there as long as there's some current flow. They catch hybrids, white bass, a lot of walleye over there. Early, like end of February, March is when they catch most of their walleye over there. As far as walleye on Lake of the Ozarks, I catfished down there a few days this last week. I did see a lot of walleye starting to get on your 6 to 12 foot mud ledges. There was so much trash, I actually tried to troll for them a little bit just to see if I could catch them. I did have one fish on, I'm pretty sure was a walleye. It come unhooked. There was so much leaves and debris and stuff floating down the river. The day I was down there wasn't no way you could troll them. But as soon as they start cutting that water back, them fish are still going to be there. That'll be a real good walleye bite as soon as that water gets cut back some. It's pretty hard to troll in the kind of current we have right now. So, as far as on Lake of the Ozarks, you know, it's mainly a catfish and crappie bite right now, white bass. That's the main things going on. On Truman, crappie, catfish. Hybrids are just getting started. They're kind of in between patterns right now. They're not on the humps because the humps are too deep. A few are coming up on the points. Just kind of depends. I haven't seen any great big schools yet either. Kind of like the white bass, they're staying in smaller pods, 15 or 20 fish. You'll pull a few out of it, and then you'll have to go looking again or wait till the next school comes through and catch a few more. So we did have some really good sized fish this week though, 12, 13 pound fish. I don't think I had anything that would have hit 14, but pretty close to it. So that's about all I've got. As far as catfish on Truman, pretty well what I've seen, a lot of guys jugging and setting lines up in willow trees. I'm sure there's still some current bite on that upper end of Truman, on like Deepwater Creek, the Osage River. There was a catfishing tournament up there yesterday. I didn't hear how that went. I didn't hear any reports at all of it, but any place there's current running up there should be quite a few catfish right now. So that bite should still be there. The drift bite, it's not going to be on yet. Everybody's been asking, well, why ain't the catfish biting on the drift? Water temperature's still in the 60s. Normally that don't get really good until you get 70 plus degree water on the warm up. And then during the fall I fish the drift until I hit about 65 degree water. You can catch them down to 60, 58, 60, but it slows way down. I like that more aggressive bite, so I don't fish it. I don't drift fish once that temperature is below 70 too much. But you can catch a few. I've seen a few bigger catfish caught this week drift fishing, a few bigger fish caught back bouncing. But it was slow. It wasn't an on fire bite like it will be once that water temperature warms up. looks like we're going to have running water for a month or two. It should make for really good summer fishing. If this water gets cleared up some, all the fish are going to be on fire, especially if we get some more rain and it don't stay muddy with it. Our kids fishing tournament, we are getting a few kids coming in with fish, a couple kids a week. I want to see a lot more kids get in here. We get 100, 200 kids through here a week, and we're only getting a few of them back in here with fish. I know a lot of them are catching fish. The parents and grandparents just aren't bringing them back in. We still got prizes for all these kids. We haven't even had 36 kids bring in fish yet. So get them out there, get them a fish caught. Don't matter how big the crappie is, as long as it's a legal fish. Don't matter how big the catfish is. I think we had a little girl bring in a catfish this week that was like 1/4 pound. She got a prize for it. She is happy as could be. You know, that's what we want to see. We want to show you guys them pictures of them kids being happy. Just bring them in. Come in, ask about our tournament. It's 15 years and younger on that. We still got some kids that haven't come in and claimed their prizes that they won for having Big Fish of the Month. So we want to get them in here too. Trying to think of what else I need to cover. I've had a lot of people asking about bait right now. So your shad on Truman, a lot of them on the main lake are just out roaming deep. They might be off your deeper ledges, like your 30 to 40 foot drops. Early in the morning, it seems like the shad I'm seeing are in that 25 to 35 foot of water range. And they're down 15, 20 foot down. Later in the evening, I've seen shad up on top flipping. Kind of normal for this time of year. They should be spawning up there right now, so I'm sure there's some of your bigger shad are up in the bushes right now. I think there's some shad on the weir above the dam, but they're really scattered out. They're not schooled up. There were so many fish on there. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I looked. All the fish was up high and moving pretty fast. I couldn't really tell what was what. There was quite a bit of current up there, so that made it hard. As far as shad on Lake of the Ozarks, the dead water below the dam's absolutely loaded with big shad spawning up in there right now. The harbor's loaded with bait. The mouth of the harbor, the current breakout in the front of it. All the coves going down Lake of the Ozarks have some shad in them. Even in the current, there's some shad scattered out, like I said earlier. Them shad in the current, they're going to be suspended 5 to 15 foot deep. Them are going to be hard to catch because of the current. The current's going to close your net up quite a bit. We do have some nets with 5/8 mesh on them, heavier nets. If you're good enough throwing one, those will catch them in that current. But really, there's no reason to get in the backwater below the dam. Get in a current break, just right down the edge of the river. There's going to be shad scattered down it. They're really easy to catch this time of year, so you shouldn't, as long as you can throw a shad net, you shouldn't struggle on that. We do still have some frozen skipjack in the shop. I'll have shad back in at some point this week. I did run out yesterday. I think that's all I've got that people wanted me to cover. Trying to think. I do want to mention a happy Mother's Day to all the good mothers out there. You know, stepmothers, grandmas. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. You kind of keep the families going most of the time. And don't get near enough credit for it. So I want to say thanks to all of you. This weekend we've had a lot of moms bringing their kids in and taking them fishing. Actually, for the last 5 or 6 years, we started seeing more of that than I ever had. We like seeing it. Jessica, you know, she does everything she can do to help them people out in here, get them set up, try to help them catch fish. I want to give a big thanks to her. She kind of keeps the bait shop running and everything at home. I want to give her a big happy Mother's Day on here. want to give my mom a big happy Mother's Day. She's helped me get where I'm at today. That's about all I've got. So I appreciate it, y'all. I'm going to get back to working around the shop here. I will try to get to where I'm posting a fishing report either every Friday or Sunday morning. Depends on which days I have more time in the shop. So thank y'all. I got a customer pulling in. I appreciate it.